Welcome back, viewers. In this video, we are going to discuss about the topic continuity and differentiability from CBSE Class 12 Math. So, first of all, in this class, we will discuss what is about continuity. In the next class, we will discuss about the differentiability. So, first let us think the general meaning of continuity. Continuity, what it means is the curve is continuous. So, for example, if I have any curve like this, if you just observe here, this is along x-axis and this is y-axis, and let us say this function is y is equal to f of x. Now you can just observe here in this graph, from this starting point till this end point, there is no break at all. What I mean by break here, a gap between any 2 points. For example, if I just erase this part here, you can see some sort of gap here. So previously in this curve, I don't have any break at all. So what is the point of discussing about this break or gap in the curve? Why? Because let me give you a simple example. For example, if I take f of x is equal to 1 by x minus 3, let us say, you can give different inputs for the x and accordingly you will get different values of f of x. Now just observe here, what will happen to this function when I replace x with 3? This will give you a value of undefined. So please remember one point here, undefined is a symbol, just it will represent the highest possible positive number. Infinite is just a symbol only, it's not a number. So let me just elaborate this part. For example, according to my knowledge, let us say 1 crore is the highest number for me. So that means this 1 crore can be named as an infinity. Let us say if you know the 5 crore is the highest number, that means that 5 crore can be named as the infinity. So as this value is changing from person to person, we are naming this as an undefined. In mathematics terminology, we are going to call this as infinity. Now just observe here, what is happening if I try to plot this function f of x is equal to 1 by x minus 3, for sure I cannot plot this infinity because it is not a constant value, because of which there exists some particular gap at point 3, let us say. Okay. Now what will happen, because of this gap here, I cannot examine the behavior of the function. That means whether it is increasing or decreasing, whether is there any turning point here. So I cannot just give a constant report on behavior of the function. So what we have to do, we have to come across this type of gaps in the curves to understand the function behavior very well. So for that only we learned about the concept called as a limits. So limit is all about the prediction of a value. What is the main purpose of limits concept is prediction of a value. So this prediction will help you to bridge this gap here so that you can be able to understand the behavior of the function. Now let us see the same concept of limit what we learned in class 11. The same thing we are going to learn now to define whether a function is continuous or not. If you remember, in our class 11 we have a few questions like this. Whether limit extends to 3, x square minus 9 divided by x minus 3. If I give you this question, we learned how to simplify these questions from the class 11 point of view. So the basic thing that you have to recall with respect to limits is, when at any particular point, if function is giving you an undefined value, you just have to modify this function into a simplified manner so that you will be getting an answer for that particular question. We know that in the numerator we have to make use of algebraic identity so that it can be further simplified to limit extends to 3, x minus 3 into x plus 3 whole divided by x minus 3. You can just observe here, x minus 3 and x minus 3 will get cancelled. limit x tends to 3, x plus 3 you are getting, that is nothing but 6 here. Now you can just observe one point here. What is the reason for us to go for the limits concept is, if you just observe in this particular function f of x, if you substitute the value of x as a 3 in this particular question, you will get answer as an undefined. So that means you are unable to predict the answer. So limits will help you to predict the answer by modifying the function using the related algebraic identities or trigonometric formulations, whatever it may be, depends on the context here. So what is the reason for us to get an infinity? That you have to think first of all. The reason for getting infinity is having a 0 in the denominator, because we know that any number divided by 0 will give you infinity. So if you just observe in this particular part, there is no denominator at all. When there is no denominator, you no need to worry about anything. Straight away you can substitute the value of x in the function to get the correct answer, right? So this point you can think like, whenever if there is no denominator, you can straight away think that the limit value will exist at that particular point. Now just try to relate the same thing. Previously the question, this is my function. For this function, if I substitute x is equal to 3, I am getting infinity. And I simplified this part and I am getting answer as a 6 here. That means previously where you got infinity, now at the same point of x at 3, you are getting answer as a 6 here. So what happened now? Previously when you plot this one, in the graph you are having a gap at x is equal to 3. Now what happened? Because of this limits concept, the gap got filled with a value of 6. Previously gap obtained because at x is equal to 3 you are getting infinity. After modifying the function, you are getting answer as in 6 here. So we learned in our class 11 how you are going to conclude whether this 6 is correct or not. We have to approach this 3 from the left hand side as well as from the right hand side, and we will find the function value whether it is also approaching to the same or not. So if you just observe here, this is x and this is f of x. See, this neighborhood concept is really very important as far as limits or calculus part is concerned. Neighborhood means which is very close to that particular value. If you just observe here, let us take your house as an example. Your house, if I take as an example, the neighbor can be on the left side or even on the right side. In the similar way, for the number 3, the neighbor can be on the left side or it can be on the right side also. If you are taking the values from the left side, then it is called as left neighborhood. If you are taking values on the right side, then it is called as right neighborhood. So as you are evaluating the limit, this is called as an LHL, this is called as an RHL, indicating that left hand limit, right hand limit, right? Now see, who I can say the neighbor to you is the person who is next to you, or the house that is next to you, immediate next to you. So if you see here 3, I can say 2.9 is nearest to 3. But any one of us can say that 2.99 is still closer to 3. Someone else may say 2.999 is still closer. Someone may say 2.49 will be more closer. So what is happening here? We cannot say which is actually very much close to 3 from the left side. Similarly, think from the right side. From the right side, 3.01 is very nearest to 3. Similarly, 3.001, 3.0001 and so on. These are all the values. If you increase the zeros on the after decimal point, you will be getting closer to 3 on the right side. So you can just observe here, what is the reason for us to come across this type of cases? Because we know that there exist infinite rational and irrational numbers between any two integers. That is the reason you are getting this many numbers. Now you have a function f of x as an x plus 3. Substitute x with 2.9. You are getting 5.9, 5.99, 5.999, 5.49, and similarly these are all the values in the left hand side. and even from the right side also you will be getting 6.01, 001, 6.0001 and so on. So just try to imagine these values here, 5.999 and so on, 6.00001 and so on. So what is happening here, from the left side as well as from the right side you are approaching towards the 6 only. How I can say that thing? Because 5.999, for example 5.9 and so on, let us say I wrote 1000 nines here, it is very close to 6. Similarly 6.000000 and so on 1000 times, at the last one I will place, even this is also almost equivalent to 6. So what's happening here, this value you are obtaining from the left side limit, this value you are obtaining from right side limit, still you are reaching to the same value. That is why you are able to bridge the gap so formed at this particular point. Let us say if this is the point 3, from the right side you are, from the left side you are approaching 5.999, 5.99999 like that. Similarly from the right side 6.000001 and so on. At infinite number of samples there is a chance for us to bridge this gap completely, and you can say that function is continuous. So our whole idea here is to bridge this gap. Bridging this gap is nothing but finding the LHL of a function and RHL of a function, checking at these two particular points whether the values are equal or not. This is not a new thing to us. We already did this in our class 11 itself. But there, if these two are existing, means we used to say limit extends to, say for example extends to 3, f of x exists, we used to say. But now the same thing, we are changing the terminology and we are saying that if LHL is equal to RHL, means we are saying that the function is continuous. Now this is all about the concept. So now let us do one or two questions based on this continuity and how to use the property of modifying the function based on the context. I will tell you in a simplest way here, right? Just let us see this question now. The first thing in all these questions what we have to do is we have to identify at what point the function is defined. That is the first thing you have to do. And the second thing you should do that what is the LHL of that function and what is the RHL of that function. This is the 2 points that we have to identify. See, for example, if I have a question like this, f of x is equal to something like a sine pi by 2 of x plus 1, say something like x less than or equal to 0, and something like tan x minus sin x divided by x cube when x is greater than 0. See, if I am, let us say, I am going to say that this is a continuous already, and we have to find out the value of a when the function is continuous. So now see here, in the question itself they said that f of x is continuous yet x is equal to 0. See, observe one point here. What is the reason for them to say only at x is equal to 0? Because for the simple reason, the function is defined at the point 0. If you observe this less than or equal and greater than symbols, this will give you information at what point the function is defined. You can observe here, this is defined at 0. So, as I told you, first thing you have to identify where the function is defined. Second thing, we have to identify what is the LHL function and what is the RHL function. We know that LHL will be towards the left side of that number, RHL will be towards the right side. So you can observe here, this less than symbol is representing left side of 0 and this greater than symbol is representing right hand side of 0. So this is my LHL function and this is my RHL function. Now let us see how to simplify this part. But the first thing you have to notice is how to represent the LHL function and RHL function. That is very important. See here, LHL function This is nothing but limit x tends to 0 minus f of x. See, first step it always has to be in this way only. Next thing, limit x tends to 0, f of x has to be replaced. This is an LHL function I am talking about. So f of x has to be this function, a sin pi by 2 times of x plus 1. So you can just observe here, the difference between these two steps is, this is x tends to 0 minus, this is x tends to 0. So x tends to 0 minus f of x I am writing, and in the next step if you observe, I change it to x tends to 0 because I substituted the corresponding function for LHL. That is the reason x tends to 0 minus changed to x tends to 0. And one more thing here, you can observe here there is no denominator at all. I told you before itself, the reason for getting infinity is having denominator in 0. Sorry, having 0 in denominator. So you can just observe here, there is no denominator at all, so there is no chance of getting 0. Straight away substitute the limit value in the function, you will be getting a sin pi by 2 of 0 plus 1, you will be getting a sin pi by 2, that is nothing but 1. A into 1, it is a, because sin 90 is nothing but 1 here. Now come to the RHL function, let us try to simplify that. RHL, limit x tends to 0 plus f of x. Understand the difference here. Previously this is 0 minus because it is LHL. This is 0 plus, so it is RHL. Substitute the corresponding function, limit x tends to 0, tan x minus sin x divided by x cube. Now see, I am going to tell you how you have to deal with the trigonometric functions in the differentiation concept. The first basic rule that you can remember is, what is the angles that they had given in the question. You can observe here, both the angles are x only. So first identify whether the angles given in the question with respect to trigonometric functions are all same or not. This is the first point you have to think of. Second thing, try to bring in everything into a single trigonometric function or convert any function, one function into the another function. These are the two basic steps that you have to remember with respect to trigonometry, irrespective of chapter. Whether it is a differentiation, integration or whatever it may be, these basic rules if you follow, it will be easy for you to simplify the trigonometric functions. So this tan x can be written as sin x by cos x and then minus sin x whole divided by x cube. So you can just observe here, I can modify this function by taking sin x as a common. Why I have to take sin x as a common, you can just observe here. In the both the two terms in the numerator, sin x can be taken as a common. So that can be written as limit x tends to 0. Sin x can be taken as common and I will be getting 1 minus cos x by cos x into x cube. This is the basic simplification you are doing. Now you can just observe here, I can write this sin x by cos x as an tan x into 1 minus cos x whole divided by x cube here. Now please understand this critical point I am going to tell you now. Whenever you are having any trigonometric functions, you have to recall the formulas that we are having with respect to limits. If you try to recall the formulas that we have is, limit x tends to 0, sin x by x is equal to 1, limit x tends to 0, cos x is equal to 1, limit x tends to 0, tan x by x is equal to 1. So when these are the only three formulas that we are having with respect to trigonometry and limits. You can just observe here, I am having a tan function. So that means for the tan function formula I am having denominator as an x here. So that means it is giving me a hint that this x cube can be written as limit extends to 0 tan x by x into 1 minus cos x by x square. Hope you understood the logic here. What made me to write in this way? Because with respect to tan function, if I want to use the formula, I should have a tan x by x. So that's why from x cube I separated x and x square. If you just observe one more small thing here, with respect to cos function, there is no denominator at all. But see here, you are having a denominator here. That means this is not actually in the correct form. You have to do some modification. So this is how you have to develop your thinking, that if this is the cos x, means in my formula with respect to cos x I don't have denominator, but here some denominator is there, which means I have to modify this function using some another formulation. Now we know that limits formulas can be splitted with respect to multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, everything. We know that 1 minus cos theta formula is 2 sin square x by 2 by x square. Hope this point is very clear. See, you just have to think from the formulation's point of view whether it is existing in the standard form or not. If this is not the standard form, what is the formulation I have to use? I'm just again repeating here. This is a cos x function. With respect to cos x, I don't have any denominator. But here I am having denominator, means I have to make use of some another formula here. So I will just write the formula that I used here. We know that 1 minus cos 2 theta is equal to 2 sin square theta, whereas 1 plus cos 2 theta is equal to 2 cos square theta. And my suggestion here is, please try to remember the template rather than the formula. So what I mean by template here, if you are having anything like 1 minus some cos function, it has to be written as a 2 sin square of some angle. That angle relation you should be able to figure out. This is the 2 theta, but this is theta. That means half of this angle is coming in the answer. Similarly, this is x here, half of that angle is x by 2. Once if you are able to get this type of logics, your calculation part will become simple. So we know that limit extends to 0 tan x by x is 1. 2 is a constant, can be pulled out. Limit extends to 0. This is nothing but sin x by 2 by x whole square. Right? So we know one more formula with respect to limits and sine trigonometric function, that is sin a theta by theta is equal to a. So you can just observe here the value of a, you can take theta here. The value of a here is 1 by 2, but you have a whole square here. So this will become 1 into 2 into 1 by 2 whole square. So that is nothing but 1 by 2 again. So if you just come back to the question again, in the question they said the function is continuous at x is equal to 0. So as the function is continuous, it should be LHL is equal to RHL. So we, in the previous calculation, we got LHL is equal to A, RHL is equal to 1 by 2. So that is how the value of A is equal to 1 by 2. So the takeaways from this chapter, from this video is, first thing, whenever you are having the trigonometric functions, please check whether the angles given in the question all are same or not. If they are not same, please try to make it same using some formulations. Second thing, try to reduce the number of trigonometric functions in the question or modify the one function into the another function so that your calculation part will become simple. And then whenever you are using the limits, try to recall all the formulations with respect to trigonometry and then use the corresponding formulations and look for whether they are existing in the standard form or not. If they are not existing in the standard form, it's your task to modify the function into some another formulations to get the required answers. Right? Thank you, viewers. In the next class, we are going to discuss few more models in the continuity, and then I will give introduction for the differentiability. Thank you everyone.